You are not an accident. The knife that sliced open your childhood wasn't random. The betrayal that left you gasping for air at 3 a.m. wasn't bad luck. The disease eating through your body right now isn't a cosmic mistake. You chose it all. Before your lungs filled with air, before your cells divided, before your parents even met, you stood at the edge of eternity and handpicked every excruciating detail of the life you're living right now. That thought should terrify you. Why would any conscious being deliberately choose pain? Why select abuse instead of comfort? Why design heartbreak into your own existence? Because your soul isn't interested in your happiness. It craves evolution. And nothing transforms a soul like being shattered and rebuilt. I know how this sounds. Insane, cruel, victim-blaming. But what's the alternative? That the universe randomly distributes suffering? That some cosmic lottery assigns trauma to certain souls while blessing others? Look deeper. The world's oldest wisdom traditions, from Tibetan masters to Egyptian mystics, from quantum physicists to past life researchers, all point to the same uncomfortable truth. Your soul architected this life with surgical precision, and I can prove it. The 5-year-old who describes his other mommy from before with impossible accuracy. The woman who's never been to Paris, yet knows exactly how to navigate its oldest neighborhoods. The inexplicable terror you feel in water despite no drowning history in this life. The instant recognition when you meet certain strangers, that electric knowing that defies logic. These aren't quirks. They're glitches in the amnesia, cracks in the veil that separates your human consciousness from your soul's awareness. Science calls these anomalies. Spiritual traditions call them proof. Dr. Ian Stevenson documented over 3,000 cases of children with specific memories of past lives at the University of Virginia. Children who could identify people, places, and objects they couldn't possibly know about. Children who had birthmarks exactly where they'd been fatally wounded in previous incarnations. Quantum physics has demolished the illusion of linear time. At the quantum level, past, present, and future exist simultaneously. Your soul exists outside time's constraints, able to see your entire journey from beginning to end, and everything in between. Near-death survivors consistently report the same experience, a life review, where they witness not just their actions, but the ripple effects of every choice, every word, every thought. They describe a stunning revelation. They chose this life, all of it. These aren't fringe theories. They're documented phenomena pointing to a single reality. Your existence is deliberately designed by you. Before incarnating, your soul existed in a realm of expanded consciousness, a dimension where all possibilities are visible simultaneously. There, you weren't limited by human perception. You saw the full blueprint of countless potential lives you could live. You examined each one with perfect clarity, its lessons, its pain, its growth potential. With spiritual guides and your soul group, beings you've incarnated with through countless lifetimes, you crafted your current life with excruciating precision. You selected parents whose DNA would create the exact physical vehicle your soul's curriculum required. You chose their personalities, their wounds, their limitations, not in spite of their flaws, but because of them. You orchestrated chance encounters with soul partners, beings who agreed to play specific roles in your development. Some would love you, some would break you, some would save you, some would teach you through their absence. You programmed certain events as non-negotiable. The childhood trauma that would shape your core wounds, the health challenges that would force specific growth, the heartbreaks that would crack open your capacity for compassion, the failures that would dismantle your ego's illusions. You also built in choice points, moments when your free will could alter your trajectory while still serving your soul's mission. Then came the forgetting. You willingly accepted complete amnesia about this process, because remembering would undermine everything. If you knew you'd chosen your hardships, they wouldn't transform you in the same way. The forgetting is what makes the lessons real. But you left yourself breadcrumbs, intuitive nudges, dreams, inexplicable knowing, moments of déjà vu. These are your soul whispering to your human consciousness. Remember, you chose this for a reason. Your soul doesn't incarnate for comfort, it incarnates for completion. In the spiritual realm, everything is perfect, peaceful, harmonious. But certain qualities can only be developed through opposition and struggle. Compassion requires witnessing suffering. Forgiveness requires being wounded. Strength requires being broken. Self-love requires self-hatred first. Surrender requires losing control. These aren't metaphors. They're the mechanics of soul evolution. Look at your deepest wounds. They're not random. They're precisely calibrated to develop exactly what your soul came here to learn. Abandoned as a child? Your soul is mastering self-sufficiency and healing ancestral abandonment patterns. Betrayed by those you trusted? Your soul is learning discernment and the capacity to trust again despite evidence against it. Trapped in chronic pain, your soul is developing presence and surrendering the ego's demand for control. Born into oppression, your soul is reclaiming its power and learning to transform systems from within. Some souls choose lives of relative ease because they're working on different lessons, perhaps generosity from abundance or humility despite privilege. But many advanced souls deliberately select maximum difficulty. The most evolved beings often choose the most painful lives, not as punishment, but as accelerated evolution. Look at history's greatest spiritual teachers. Almost none had easy lives. That's not coincidence, that's by design. Your soul selected challenges specific to what it needed to master. If your soul needed to develop boundless compassion, you might choose childhood abuse. If your soul needed to learn radical acceptance, you might select a body with chronic illness. If your soul needed to transcend attachment, you might program in devastating loss. These aren't punishments, they're initiations into spiritual mastery. And you're not doing it alone. Your entire soul group, beings you've known through countless lifetimes, is evolving together. You take turns playing crucial roles in each other's development. That person who shattered your heart, in the space between lives, you embraced them, grateful they agreed to play this devastating but necessary role in your evolution. That parent who failed you selected them explicitly for their wounds, knowing those exact deficiencies would force you to develop specific strengths. Every significant relationship in your life is a soul contract, a sacred agreement to teach each other precisely what you both came to learn. When your body dies, your consciousness explodes beyond physical limitations. The amnesia lifts. You remember everything, who you truly are, all your past lives, the contracts you made, the lessons you planned. Then comes the life review. Not judgment, but education. You experience the full impact of your existence. You feel the pain you caused others as if it were your own. You feel the joy you created. You witness how a single moment of cruelty spawned generations of trauma. How one act of courage changed lives you never even met. You see the complete tapestry of cause and effect that your human perception couldn't grasp. With this unfiltered truth about your performance in this lifetime, you and your guides assess what you've mastered and what still needs work. Then the planning begins for your next incarnation. You design a life precisely tailored to your soul's continuing evolution. Your parents and genetic makeup, your innate personality tendencies, key relationships that will shape you, major challenges you need to face, talents that will help your journey, potential awakening moments where you might remember your purpose. This isn't punishment or reward, it's education, evolution, the soul's journey toward completion. The most fascinating part is how souls synchronize their incarnations. Your entire soul group, beings you've traveled with for eons, coordinates their births, roles, and intersections with mathematical precision. Your mortal enemy might be your immortal ally, volunteering to play villain so you can develop forgiveness. Your soulmate isn't a coincidence. It's a precisely timed rendezvous planned before either of you took breath. That random person who appeared at your darkest hour with exactly what you needed, part of your pre-birth plan. Even accidental events, the car crash, the illness, the unexpected windfall, were programmed as potential turning points in your soul's curriculum. But if everything's predetermined, what about choice? Your soul mapped the territory of your life. Your human self chooses how to navigate it. Think of it like this. Your soul selected the game, the playing field, and the major players. But every move within that framework comes from your free will. The abuse you suffered, planned. Whether you let it destroy you or transform you, your choice. The health crisis, part of your soul contract. Whether you face it with bitterness or grace, up to you. The betrayal, predetermined. Whether you choose vengeance or forgiveness, your decision alone. This is why identical twins with nearly identical circumstances can lead radically different lives. Same soul blueprint, different choices within it. Your soul chose what would happen. Your human self chooses how to respond. And these responses create the karma that shapes your next incarnation. Look at the patterns repeating in your life, the same lesson returning in different forms, the same relationship dynamics with different faces. These aren't accidents, they're your soul's curriculum, returning again and again until you choose differently. When you finally learn what your soul came to master, the pattern dissolves, the challenge resolves, the wound heals completely. That's the evidence you're accomplishing what you incarnated to do. Some souls complete their earthly curriculum and transcend the cycle entirely. This isn't escape, it's graduation. Liberation has many names across wisdom traditions. Moksha, nirvana, ascension, all describe the same phenomenon. A soul that has mastered what physical existence can teach. How do you break free? First, awaken to your true nature. Recognize that you are not your body, thoughts, or circumstances. You are the eternal awareness witnessing them. This fundamental shift in identity begins loosening the soul's attachment to physical existence. Next, resolve your karma through conscious completion. Face your shadows, heal your wounds, balance your energetic debts. Practice radical forgiveness, not the superficial kind that says it's okay, but the profound recognition that every soul is doing exactly what it must for its evolution. When you truly understand this, resentment dissolves completely. Develop detachment, not numbness, but freedom from being controlled by desires and fears. Learn to love without clinging, to care deeply without attachment to outcomes. Finally, experience unity consciousness, the direct realization that all separation is illusion. When you know, not intellectually but viscerally, that all beings are connected facets of one consciousness, the foundation of reincarnation dissolves. When this happens, you have choices about what comes next. Dissolve back into source consciousness. Explore higher dimensions beyond physical form. Return to Earth as a guide, not from necessity but from compassion. These enlightened beings who choose to return, bodhisattvas, avatars, way showers, live among us now. While most souls forget their pre-birth plans, these beings maintain access to their expanded awareness. Where most struggle against challenges, these souls alchemize whatever life brings. You've encountered them. The person whose presence alone brought peace, who seemed to understand you without words, whose wisdom defied their years or education. These aren't just good people. They're graduated souls who've chosen to return to help others awaken. Look at your life right now, exactly as it is. The relationship destroying your peace, the financial situation crushing your security, the health issue that terrifies you, the grief that's hollowed you out. What if none of it is random? What if you, in your highest wisdom, chose every excruciating detail? What shifts when you move from victim to architect? Everything. That toxic person becomes your teacher. That devastating loss becomes your initiation. That crippling illness becomes a doorway to depth. You stop asking why me and start asking what am I meant to learn from this. This perspective doesn't dismiss your pain, it gives it purpose. Maybe you're hearing these words right now because your soul arranged this exact moment as an awakening point, a remembering. The ancient mystics believed that liberation begins with anamnesis, remembering what we knew before birth. Not the details, but the recognition of our nature as eternal consciousness having a temporary human experience. Maybe that remembering starts now, with you. Ask yourself, what if I chose all of this? What is my soul attempting to master? What would change if I embraced every experience as intentional rather than accidental? The answers won't come from outside. They'll emerge from the quiet center of your being, from the part that chose this life, the part that never forgot. Listen closely. It's been whispering to you all along. If something in this video triggered a physical response, a shiver, tears, an inexplicable knowing, pay attention. That's not coincidence. That's remembering. And remembering is the first step toward reclaiming your role as the conscious creator of your experience. If this truth has awakened something in you, smash that subscribe button. This channel exists to trigger what your soul already knows but your human self has forgotten. Drop a comment right now with the most painful challenge you're facing and what lesson your soul might be trying to learn through it. Your insight might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear. The question isn't whether you chose this life. The question is, now that you're remembering, what will you choose next?